Right. Let's see if there's any tasty crumpet in here. Oh, hello. Hello. Yeah, not bad. Tasty. Right, here we go. Hello, darling. Whoa. Lager and lime, please, mate. Get your coat, love, you've pulled. Hey, don't run off. That's a nice coat, darling. It'll look a lot better on my bedroom floor, though. Oh well, I didn't get me leg over, but she's got my number. I reckon I'm well in there. Still time for a kebab and all. Get in.
L'amour se nourrit de coïncidences, de dangers, d'interdits.
La nuit de l'homme, Yves Saint Laurent.
Hello everybody, so today we're going to be talking about my top 5 work scents. I'm basing this on the assumption that people are working in an office or some kind of indoor environment. Apologies to anyone who works in other environments. We do realise that people do all kinds of jobs there, but for perhaps the majority of people watching, these kind of scents should work. Okay, so this list is based on scents that I do own and find that they work for me in my job. There are lots of different options out there that I perhaps haven't tried, but I will talk about some that people might think would be good options that I've chosen not to include. So for example, Dior Savage is a really good all-round scent in a lot of people's opinion, and I quite like it, but it's only about a 7 out of 10 for me. I'm trying with my scents here to look for ones that are a little bit different. I want to be, so what do I want at work? I want to be a little bit different. I don't want to be too obviously sexy or trying to be sexy or seductive, but I want to stand out from the crowd a little bit, and I want something that's classy, gives the impression of being well groomed but not too obvious. So for that reason, because Dior Savage is very popular, I've chosen not to go for it, but if you don't mind having something that people might recognise, it would be a good option. Similarly, Bleu de Chanel is another good workplace option that I know a lot of people use, and I quite like that scent, but it's not terribly exciting to me, and it comes off just as a little bit obvious, and I'm trying to be a little bit different in my workplace and stand out a little bit as somebody who's got his own ideas of how he wants to present himself. One honourable mention that I probably would have included in this list if I owned it is Chanel Allure Homme Edition Blanche, a lemon-based scent with a very nice creamy woody base. That is a great work choice, year-round appropriate, and one of the best in my opinion from the house of Chanel, and would be a great pick for people of all ages to wear to work. I just don't own it yet, I'm planning to soon. So here's the ones I actually like, let's get stuck into it. Number 1 then, I'm going with Rive Gauche from Yves Saint Laurent. I've mentioned this in a couple of other videos. This is the La Collection version, and it's widely available now where they sell Yves Saint Laurent fragrances. The notes on this one, you can actually see them on there. You've got lavender, geranium, patchouli, vetiver, and gaiac wood. This is an absolute classic barbershop scent, perhaps the ultimate designer barbershop scent. So the overall feeling with this one is a clean, well-groomed smell, a bit of a retro style, and a kind of shaving foam smell. Some kind of barbershop theme is really there. The only thing with this one is it's going to give off a little bit of a retrospective kind of vibe. If you don't mind that though, I think this could be a really good choice in the office. And could be a good one to seduce those cougars with the old 80s kind of smell there. Much nicer though than actual old school scents, perhaps like Azzaro Pour Homme or Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. I would say it's just cleaned up some of the rough edges and the animalisticness of those and made it so much more wearable in the modern world. I do have the original tin can version of Yves Saint Laurent's Rive Gauche as well, but I wouldn't sweat it too much. If you can get the old one, it's better because the bottle is more fun. I haven't noticed a massive difference, or maybe any difference in smell or performance, but I will be looking into it more. I haven't worn my old one much. Don't sweat it though, the new one is fine. Moving swiftly onwards then. Next up, we're going for Givenchy Gentleman Only Intense. I've only got a decant, but I might well be buying a really big bottle soon. I find this a really good work scent. Okay, so you've got a bit of mandarin in the opening, and then you basically dry down to a really nice spicy woody scent. So it's a scent which is fresh and clean, but a little bit spicy and woody, and just very, very well balanced and slightly different. I think there's a bit of birchwood in there, and the way they've balanced this one out is really nice. I really enjoy it. It's called Givenchy Gentleman Only Intense. That might imply that it's going to be really strong. I find performance to be just decent. It never gets on anyone's nerves, but it's a little bit different to a lot of other things out there. Really worth checking out. Givenchy Gentleman Only Intense. A nice, slightly sweet, slightly spicy, a little bit citrusy, well executed scent. One of the great recent releases, I think, from Givenchy, who's a house that I don't think have many great ones that I enjoy at the moment, but this one does stand out for me. I prefer it to Givenchy Gentleman Only, the original, and the current Absolute version that's been out recently. This to me is the best one. Next up then, at number 3 on my list, we've got Dunhill Icon from the house of Alfred Dunhill. What a great scent this is. So this is a great nighttime, night out scent as well, but something about it means it's just not too in your face for the office either. And the notes in this one, it's got neroli, we've got vetiver, we've got a little tiny bit of oud in there, but you don't really notice it. We've got lavender, so there's a bit of a barbershop thing going on. And we've got some juniper berries, so it gives it a little bit of a zingy fresh feel. So it just comes across a really nice citrus opening, almost a little bit pineapple-y maybe. Nice and sharp when it opens, and it dries down to, again, a woody, peppery, slightly lavender themed note that is just exquisitely well done, easy to wear, very versatile. It's eau de parfum. Longevity is really good. Be careful on the sprayer because it does project quite well at first, so you wouldn't want to go too heavy at work, but it's a great scent and not many people are going to be wearing it. Price is online now, very cheap, very reasonable for this one, so shop around. One of the best bottle designs ever. Dunhill Icon, great for the office. You can wear it in other situations too. Next up, number 2 in the office. Right, well, this one could be a bit controversial because, of course, when we're at work, we're not there to think about how we're smelling primarily. We're there for one reason, and that's to see how many of the women that we work with we can get to bed. So, Valentino Mo could be a good choice for this. This one, unlike the others, which are mainly just well-groomed, clean type of scents, this one's got a little bit more going on in it. That is due to the hazelnut chocolate kind of note. There's a note in here based on Gianduja cream from Italy. And let's spray a little bit. Yeah, great bergamot fresh opening. It is a little bit like Dior. Many people have mentioned that, but I think this one gets overlooked a bit now. There's a bit of a flurry of excitement when it first came out, but now I see it on the shelves a lot, but I don't hear it talked about on YouTube. I think it's really good. It's a little bit different, and I like that in the office. I like to be a little bit different. It's just a little bit sexy and seductive because of that chocolatey vibe. There's some white leather in there as well, so it's a little bit seductive, but a little bit metrosexual, almost leaning unisex too. And I think if you want something a bit different, if you like Dior Homme, you like Dior Homme Intense, but you want to be different, this is a great option. It's not super strong in performance, but it's pretty decent. Longevity is good, projection is not heavy, so I think it's ideal for the office if you just want to push it a little bit, maybe be just a little bit more sexy than you perhaps should. I think you could get away with this one, and a great choice actually if you're light on the trigger, Valentino Mo. Okay, so number 1, last but not least in my top work scents, I'm going to go with Acqua di Parma Colonia Essenza. This is a 10 out of 10 scent for me. It is a bit expensive because it's a niche fragrance, but it's so worth it. So this scent is a classic cologne style fragrance, but it's got a little bit more to it than that. It's based a little bit on the original Acqua di Parma Colonia released in 1916. There are other flankers for that, but this is probably the best one in my opinion. I would give this a 10 out of 10. You've got the usual fresh citrus opening. I think there's a bit of neroli in there. There's mandarin, petitgrain, a lot of the kind of citrus notes that we're used to from Acqua di Parma. But in the base, we've got some rose, some musk, and some patchouli. So it's got a little bit more density than the outright citrus freshy type scents, and I find that really alluring about this scent. It never comes off inappropriate at work. Let's just give it one little spray there. Yeah, I love this scent. As the dry down develops, it hangs around for a long time and gives you a really clean, well-groomed aura, and that's exactly what you want at work. It's also a little bit sexy if people get up close to you, but not in an inappropriate way. There's no gourmand notes, there's nothing animalistic, there's nothing inappropriate here. So it's also a good night out scent, mainly in the hotter months, but I think all year round this can work as a work scent. I really adore this scent. It's a little bit expensive. You might want to think about getting the 180ml size that is out there, because the value for money then becomes a lot better, and if you're going to be wearing it to work, you might spray it quite often. So as you buy a larger quantity, I've got 100ml here, but the 180ml is a good option on this one, I think. So my number one scent to give you the aura of a really classy man at work is Acqua di Parma Colonia Essenza. All the scents I've talked about today, in my humble opinion, could be good for anyone of any age old enough to have a full-time job. So that's 18 up to 60, 70. I don't think there's any one of them that you have to be a certain age for. Maybe for the younger crowd, Valentino Mo might be more appealing than some of the barbershop themed ones. The Dunhill Icon has a little bit of a barbershop thing in there, but it's still pretty fresh and spicy too. Yves Gauche, yeah, more of a dad kind of scent maybe, so that one might be for people 30s and upwards, but there's no reason a well-groomed 18 or 21-year-old could not wear it. And likewise, the Essenza might be more appealing to those of us 25, 30 and upwards, but there's no reason a younger person couldn't pull it off. Also, I got some feedback from fragrant friends around the world on what they're currently enjoying wearing to work. Here we are. Thanks very much for watching. Please let me know your favourite work scents in the comments below, and I look forward to joining you for the next video. Remember, whatever we're doing in life, let's project.